The space station hung silently above the turquoise planet, a tiny cluster of metal and glass in the vastness of the cosmos. Dr. Mara Ellison floated in the observation deck, her eyes fixed on the planet below. She had spent months studying uncharted worlds, but something about this one felt different. It shimmered with life and colors she could not name, and the sensors occasionally picked up faint signals, something living, intelligent, and unusual. Mara adjusted her gloves and checked the readings again. Her heart raced. "Captain Rivera," she called over the comm, "I'm detecting a large biosign near the equator. It's massive. Definitely not any known animal. Are you sure?" The captain's voice crackled through the speaker. "Could it be a geological anomaly?" "No, sir," Mara replied firmly. "It moves. I think it's injured. Whatever it is, it's alive." By the time the shuttle descended into the planet's atmosphere, Mara's team was tense. The alien landscape below was a mix of jagged mountains, glowing rivers, and dense forests that seemed to hum with energy. Mara gripped the edge of her seat as the shuttle's engines roared. "Keep your eyes open," she whispered. "We don't know what's down there." When they landed, the air outside was thick and heavy but breathable. The team donned their suits and stepped onto the alien soil. They followed the readings to a valley surrounded by crystal formations that sparkled under the twin suns. And there, lying across a ridge of smooth rock, was the creature. It was enormous, its body taller than a human building, covered in iridescent armor-like scales that shimmered with colors Mara had no words for. Its wings, delicate yet strong, were folded awkwardly, with a gash running down one of the membranes. The creature's eyes opened slowly, revealing an intelligence that chilled Mara and fascinated her at the same time. "By the stars," whispered Lieutenant Chen. It's beautiful." Mara stepped forward carefully, holding out a scanning device to measure vital signs. The creature's breathing was shallow, and its body trembled. But when it opened its eyes fully, Mara felt something unusual, a direct connection, as if the creature could see into her thoughts. "Stay back," Captain Rivera warned, but Mara shook her head. "No," she said firmly. "It's hurt. We can't hurt it. I'll handle this." Ignoring the cautious murmurs of her team, Mara approached slowly. The alien did not move aggressively. It tilted its head, observing her as if weighing her intentions. Mara knelt beside it, her hands hovering just above the wounded wing. "You're hurt," she whispered softly. "I won't hurt you. I just want to help." For a moment, nothing happened. Then the creature's gaze softened, and a sound came from it, almost a whisper, though no sound waves seemed to travel through the air. Mara heard the words directly in her mind. "You're the one I've been waiting for." Mara froze. Her breath caught. The queen? Was this what the aliens of old stories had called a queen? She had seen no signs of hierarchy or civilization here, yet the weight of those words filled the valley. "Did you hear that?" she whispered, to no one in particular. Her team looked confused, but Mara knew it was real. The creature's eyes, glowing faintly, were fixed on her. Carefully, she examined the wound. The gash was deep, but clean, as if made by something sharp. The creature flinched slightly at her touch, but did not strike. Mara worked methodically, using a field med kit she always carried for emergencies. She cleaned the wound, applied a rapid heal gel, and wrapped it with a biobandage that shimmered as it adhered to the scales. "You're going to be okay," she murmured, feeling an odd warmth from the creature. Its gaze never left her, and, every now and then, that soft mental whisper echoed again. "You are the one." Mara felt a shiver run down her spine. She glanced at her team. They were tense, unsure what to do. Captain Rivera stepped closer. "Dr. Ellison, we should take it back to the station. We need to study it." Mara shook her head. "No," she said firmly. "If we move it now, we could kill it. We have to let it recover here, at least until it's strong enough to travel. We can protect it from a distance." The creature shifted, slightly lifting its head higher. The movement was graceful despite the injury, like a royal being acknowledging her decision. Mara's chest tightened. She had never felt anything like this before. This bond, this trust forming between species. Hours passed as Mara stayed beside the alien, monitoring its condition and whispering soft words of reassurance. The valley was quiet except for the low hum of the planet and the occasional distant call of unknown creatures. Mara realized that the Queen's presence seemed to affect everything around her. The air felt lighter, the plants glowed subtly, and the rivers sparkled brighter. Night fell, and the twin moons cast a pale glow over the valley. Mara sat cross-legged beside the Queen, exhausted but alert. The creature's breathing had slowed, and it seemed calmer. For the first time it lifted one wing, testing the movement. Mara felt a flicker of hope. "You survived this long," she whispered. "You'll survive the rest." And then, once more, the mental whisper returned stronger than before. "You are the one I've been waiting for. Together we can change everything." Mara's heart raced. She did not yet know what the Queen meant or what dangers lay ahead, but she understood one thing clearly. Humanity had just entered a larger story, a story that would test courage, compassion, and cleverness like never before. The team watched from a distance, unsure of what to make of the bond forming before their eyes. Mara didn't care about their skepticism. In this moment, it was just her and the Queen, connected across the vast gulf of species, in a quiet valley on a distant, mysterious world. And somewhere deep inside, Mara knew that the words the Queen had spoken were no idle whispers. They were a promise. The morning light of the twin suns spilled into the valley, painting the crystalline rocks in gold and blue. Dr. Mara Ellison awoke on the soft moss she had used as a makeshift bed beside the Queen. The alien scales shimmered faintly and one of its wings moved slowly, testing strength. Mara smiled. Small progress. She stood and stretched, careful not to disturb the Queen. The wound had closed neatly under the bio-bandage, but the creature was still weak. Its breathing was slow, almost rhythmic, as if it were settling into a deep, meditative state. Mara felt a strange mix of awe and responsibility. This being was unlike anything she had ever encountered. Not just powerful, it was intelligent, regal, and somehow aware of her in ways she could not explain. "Good morning," Mara whispered, kneeling beside the Queen. "How are you feeling today?" A warm voice echoed inside her mind, gentle but firm. "Better, because you are here." Mara's heart skipped a beat. The Queen had learned to communicate with her mentally. She realized that this was not telepathy in the human sense, but something deeper, a connection between minds, a language of thought and feeling. She had no doubt now. The Queen had chosen her for a purpose she could not yet understand. Over the next few hours, Mara worked methodically. She examined the Queen's limbs, testing flexibility, watching the wings for any signs of pain. She cleaned the surrounding area, laying out nutrient gels she had brought for alien life forms. Every now and then, the Queen would nudge her hand gently, guiding her. Mara realized that it trusted her completely, and that trust was sacred. While the Queen rested, Mara spoke quietly about herself, about humans, about the world she had come from. She did not expect a reply in words, but the Queen responded in subtle ways, the tilt of the head, a soft hum, even flashes of light from its scales. Slowly, Mara began to understand small fragments of its alien language. "You've been hurt before, haven't you?" Mara asked. She didn't need an answer. In words. Images flooded her mind. Battlefields in space, ships exploding, colonies lost. The Queen had survived violence, loss, and exile, and now, here on this strange planet, it was vulnerable. "You were not meant to endure alone," Mara whispered. "But you won't have to." The Queen's gaze softened. She reached out a clawed limb, lightly touching Mara's shoulder. The sensation was strange but comforting. Mara felt a rush of warmth and purpose. It was clear. The Queen did not just need healing of the body, it needed trust, understanding, and companionship. Later, Mara climbed a small ridge to survey the valley. From this vantage point, she could see distant forests and glowing rivers. Her scanner detected faint signs of movement, other life forms, perhaps predators or even remnants of the queen species. She noted them carefully, marking potential threats and safe zones. Suddenly, the queen's voice echoed in her mind. Again urgent this time. "There is danger approaching. You must be ready." Mara's pulse quickened. She knelt beside the queen, scanning the horizon. "What kind of danger?" she asked softly. The answer came not in words but in visions, an immense swarm, black and silver, moving across stars, consuming everything in its path. Entire worlds erased. Mara gasped. She had read about cosmic threats, but nothing like this. This was more than natural predators. It was intelligent, relentless, unstoppable, unless someone intervened. "You're telling me to fight it?" she asked, though the queen's eyes seemed to smile faintly. "We will fight together," came the reply. Mara felt the weight of the responsibility settle on her shoulders. She was just one human among billions, yet the queen had chosen her. Somehow humanity's strength, its creativity, empathy, and courage, was the key in this moment. Mara did not fully understand why yet, but she trusted the queen's wisdom. That afternoon, the valley was quiet under the glow of the twin suns, but Mara felt a restless energy in the air. She had spent days caring for the queen, learning the rhythm of its breath, and observing its subtle movements. Yet, an uneasy feeling nagged at her, a sense that something far greater than either of them was approaching. Her scanners beeped softly, warning her of faint energy signatures beyond the valley. Mara adjusted the devices, trying to filter noise from actual readings. Her pulse quickened when she noticed a large formation moving through space, an unfamiliar fleet-like pattern, dark and mechanical. Even at this distance, its presence radiated danger. Mara knelt beside the queen. "Do you see that?" she whispered, pointing to the distant energy traces. The queen's eyes glimmered, and in Mara's mind came the voice she had come to trust. "It is the Devourer. A threat across galaxies. Entire star systems fall before it. It is coming here." Mara swallowed hard. She had read about dangerous species in old human space archives, but nothing prepared her for this. The images flashed in her mind. Worlds stripped of life, civilizations erased, stars left dark. It was more than destruction. It was consumption, on a scale she had never imagined. "We have to warn someone," Mara said. "We can't face it alone." "Few can understand its reach," the queen replied. "Even my kind feared it. You are unique. You can think in ways it cannot predict." Mara realized what the queen meant. Humans were unpredictable, inventive, capable of thinking beyond logic and routine. That unpredictability was dangerous to the Devourer. Somehow the queen had recognized that humanity was a crucial part of survival. Her thoughts were interrupted by a sudden tremor beneath the valley. Rocks shifted, trees bent unnaturally, and a low metallic hum filled the air. Mara spun around. At the ridge, shadows moved, flying machines unlike anything human or known alien. They descended, small but fast, scanning the valley with sharp, silver instruments. "Hostiles!" she shouted to her team over the comm, though they were still in the shuttle. Mara grabbed a scanner and energy blaster, positioning herself between the queen and the intruders. The machines paused, assessing the valley and its occupants. Mara had only seconds to act. She pressed a button on her portable shield generator, activating a translucent energy barrier around the queen. The machines hesitated, buzzing and scanning, but could not penetrate the barrier. The queen moved gracefully, lifting its wings slightly. Light shimmered from its scales, creating a distraction. Mara realized that the queen's presence alone could influence the machine's sensors. She combined her human ingenuity with the queen's alien power, guiding the creature's movements. Together, they created a visual illusion that made it appear as though the valley was empty. The intruders hovered for a tense moment. Mara held her breath. One wrong move, and the queen could be injured, or worse. Then slowly the machines retreated, scanning the skies but unable to confirm their target. Mara exhaled, relief washing over her. The Queen's gaze met hers, and Mara felt the silent praise. Clever. You are clever, human. She realized the stakes had grown. This valley, this planet, was not just a refuge, it was a front line. If the Devourer or its agents reached this sector, the galaxy could face a threat humans had never imagined. Over the next hours, Mara worked tirelessly. She set up early warning sensors, camouflaged the valley entrances, and created safe zones for the Queen. Every move required calculation, improvisation, and creativity, skills humans excelled at. She felt alive in a way she had never known, her mind racing with solutions and contingencies. The Queen watched silently, occasionally nudging Mara toward better positions for sensors or adjusting the energy flow from the shields. Mara marveled at the bond forming between them. Despite the vast difference in species, intelligence, and power, they were beginning to understand one another perfectly. Night fell, and Mara took a brief moment to rest beside the Queen. The twin moons cast silver beams across the valley, illuminating the alien flora. She spoke softly, not expecting an answer. You've faced horrors I cannot imagine, yet here you are surviving. I'll do everything I can to help you no matter what comes. The Queen's eyes glimmered faintly, and Mara felt the soft mental whisper. You are the one I've been waiting for. Even against the Devourer, your mind and courage are key. Mara shivered. She understood now why the Queen had chosen her. Not because she was stronger or faster or more advanced, because she could think differently. She could adapt, improvise, and make choices guided by empathy and creativity. The quiet was shattered the next day when the scanners detected a massive approach, a fleet of dark, biomechanical ships moving through space, each larger than any human vessel Mara had ever seen. The Devourer's agents were here, drawn by the Queen's presence. Mara's team looked to her for guidance. She felt the weight of responsibility. Every decision mattered. One mistake could cost not only the Queen's life but potentially open a path for the Devourer to consume this part of the galaxy. She glanced at the Queen, who had risen fully now, testing its wings. The creature radiated power and confidence, but it was still recovering. Mara understood that this was their moment to combine strengths, human ingenuity and alien might, against a threat neither could face alone. Stay close, she whispered. We'll need every idea, every trick we have. The Queen's scales shimmered with anticipation, and the valley seemed to hum with potential energy. Mara felt fear, yes, but also determination. She was no longer just a scientist. She was a protector, a strategist, a human capable of shaping the outcome of a galactic conflict. And deep inside, the words the Queen had whispered first echoed, louder than ever. You are the one I've been waiting for. Mara knew the truth of it now. It was not a warning. It was a call to action. The morning sun cast a warm glow over the valley, highlighting the shimmering scales of the Queen as she tested the strength of her wings. Dr. Mara Ellison stood nearby, scanning the horizon with a mixture of caution and determination. The previous day's warning had confirmed their fears. The Devourer's agents were moving closer, and the valley was now more than a sanctuary. It was a battlefield waiting to happen. Mara approached the Queen carefully. We need to prepare, she said softly. We can't just wait for them to come to us. The Queen tilted her massive head, eyes glowing faintly. In Mara's mind, the familiar, gentle voice came. Yes, but we are not alone. Together, we can do more than survive. We can fight, we can plan, we can win. Mara's heart raced. That was the first time the Queen had said we. Until now, it had always spoken in a way that kept her separate, observing. Now it was acknowledging her as a partner. They began their work. Mara shared her human strategies, quick traps, decoys, and ways to use the terrain to their advantage. The Queen in turn shared knowledge of alien technology, energy manipulation, protective shields, and subtle forms of communication that could confuse enemies. Mara was astonished at how much they could learn from one another. We can combine our strengths, Mara said aloud, almost to herself. You have power, precision, and experience. I have creativity, intuition, and adaptability. Together, we might actually stand a chance. The Queen's gaze softened, and Mara felt the whisper again. You understand. You think differently. That is why you are indispensable. That is why you are the one I have been waiting for. Over the next few hours, they established a series of defenses. Mara set up motion detectors and hidden energy traps along the valley's borders. The Queen, using her telepathic influence, amplified the readings, creating a network of early warning signals no enemy could bypass without alerting them. As they worked, Mara realized something remarkable. The Queen's presence seemed to enhance human ingenuity. Simple ideas became incredibly effective when combined with alien intuition. Mara adjusted a sensor, and the Queen subtly shifted its energy field. The result was a trap that could disable multiple biomechanical intruders at once. Your species is clever, the Queen whispered in her mind. But your courage, your empathy, that is rare. It allows you to make choices others cannot. Mara smiled despite the tension. I learned from you, she replied. We're learning from each other. By nightfall, the valley was transformed. Mara's human-made systems and the Queen's alien abilities intertwined to form a sophisticated defense network. The energy traps glimmered faintly, invisible to the naked eye but deadly to intruders. Mara checked each system meticulously. We're ready, she said. The Queen rose, wings spreading wide in the moonlight. Mara had never seen anything so majestic. The alien radiated power, but there was still an element of vulnerability. Enough to remind Mara that this was not just a battle of strength but of partnership and trust. Suddenly, Mara's portable scanner beeped. Small fleets of biomechanical ships had been detected moving closer. Mara's pulse quickened, but she kept calm. She turned to the Queen. This is it. Are you ready? I have waited for this moment with you, the Queen replied. Together, they watched the distant horizon. Mara felt a surge of pride, not for herself alone, but for the bond they had formed. Humans were not the most powerful species in the galaxy, not by sheer force or advanced technology, but their unpredictability, creativity, and courage made them formidable allies, and the Queen had recognized that. As the night deepened, Mara and the Queen shared information about the approaching threat. The valley trembled with tension as dawn broke over the jagged peaks. Dr. Mara Ellison stood beside the Queen, her heart pounding, but her mind sharp and focused. The sensors had confirmed what she had feared. The biomechanical fleet of the Devourer was approaching faster than expected. The battle they had prepared for was about to begin. Mara checked the energy shields one last time. Her human-made devices, combined with the Queen's alien power, created an invisible barrier that shimmered faintly in the morning light. The Queen flexed its massive wings, testing strength and mobility. Though still recovering, it radiated authority and readiness. They're coming, Mara whispered to herself. She glanced at the Queen. We need to act fast. Stick to the plan, but be ready to adapt. Adaptation is your strength, the Queen replied in her mind. That is why you are essential. That is why I chose you. Mara nodded. She had no doubt now. Their partnership was the key to survival. The Queen's power alone was formidable, but combined with human ingenuity, they could create strategies even the Devourer's agents would not anticipate. The first wave appeared, over the horizon, sleek, silver, and terrifyingly precise. Mara's pulse quickened, but she focused. She activated the decoy traps she had set along the valley's edge. Energy pulses flickered, creating false heat signatures and illusions of troop movements. The biomechanical units reacted immediately, diverting toward the decoys. Good, Mara whispered. Now we move to phase 2. The Queen rose fully into the air, wings spread wide. Light shimmered across its scales, refracting in patterns. that disoriented the approaching fleet. Mara's sensors confirmed the enemy's confusion. The biomechanical ships hesitated, their algorithms unable to account for the unpredictable combination of human strategy and alien influence. Mara directed the energy traps remotely, guiding the Queen's movements like a conductor leading an orchestra. The first wave collided with the illusions and traps, faltering as Mara had predicted. Sparks flew and the machines reeled, struggling to adapt. "Clever," the Queen whispered in her mind. "You think in ways they cannot. They underestimate your species." Mara felt a surge of determination. "Then let's show them exactly what humans can do." She moved quickly, adjusting shields, triggering additional traps, and creating distractions. The biomechanical units regrouped, moving in formation, but Mara anticipated every adjustment. The Queen swooped low, its massive wings creating gusts that knocked several machines off balance. Energy pulses radiated from its body, disabling nearby ships temporarily. Mara's team watched in awe. Human and alien efforts blended seamlessly. Where the Queen had strength, Mara had strategy. Where Mara's plans needed precision, the Queen provided instinctive timing. The biomechanical fleet was powerful, but it had never faced opponents so synchronized across species lines. Hours passed in a tense rhythm. Mara gave instructions, made split-second decisions, and adapted constantly to the enemy's movements. The Queen followed her lead, but also acted independently when Mara could not predict every reaction. Together they created a dynamic defense no algorithm could fully counter. At one critical moment, a massive enemy ship broke through the outer defenses. Mara's hands flew over the control panel, rerouting energy pulses to create a barrier just in time. The ship slammed against the energy shield and faltered, giving the Queen the chance to strike. With a single precise movement, the Queen's wing sent a shockwave that disabled the intruder entirely. Mara exhaled, feeling a mix of relief and exhilaration. "We can do this," she thought, trusting the Queen's presence beside her. But the battle was far from over. More ships appeared on the horizon, larger and faster than before. Mara's mind raced. They couldn't defeat the Devourer's full force through strength alone. They needed creativity. "Phase 3, she murmured. "We make them underestimate us." Using the terrain and the Queen's energy manipulation, Mara devised a clever trap. She led the enemy toward a narrow canyon, where reflective crystals could amplify the Queen's energy pulses. The biomechanical units pursued, unaware of the amplification. When they reached the trap, a sudden surge of energy from the Queen, magnified by the crystals, disabled several ships at once. The remaining units faltered, confused by the unexpected tactic. "Extraordinary," the Queen whispered. "Your ingenuity saves lives today. You think like no other being I have known." Mara felt a rush of pride, but there was no time to celebrate. The last wave of ships advanced, larger and more dangerous than anything before. Mara's heart pounded, but she stayed focused. She coordinated with the Queen, combining human strategy and alien instinct to counter every move. The final assault was brutal, but through teamwork, quick thinking, and the unpredictable nature of human improvisation, they managed to push the biomechanical fleet back. One by one, the machines retreated, unable to adapt to the combination of human creativity and alien power. Finally, silence returned to the valley. Mara sank to her knees, exhausted but exhilarated. The Queen landed beside her, wings folding gracefully. Its massive eyes regarded her with an expression that Mara could not name. Pride, respect, and trust all mixed into one. "You are extraordinary," the Queen whispered. "Without you, we would have failed. You are the one I have been waiting for, and together, we are unstoppable." Mara smiled faintly, still catching her breath. "We did it," she said softly. "But this is only the beginning. The Devourer will come back, and next time we'll need to be even smarter." The Queen lowered its head, nudging Mara gently. She felt the subtle warmth of acknowledgement, and for the first time, she realized the truth of their bond. It was not just survival. They were partners, allies, and something stronger. A bridge between species, between human ingenuity and alien power. Mara looked out over the valley, now quiet again. The sunlight reflected off the energy traps and the Queen's shimmering scales, a reminder that they had faced a near-impossible threat and prevailed. She knew this was only a glimpse of the larger dangers in the galaxy, but she also knew that with courage, intelligence, and empathy, humanity could stand alongside even the most powerful alien beings. And deep inside, Mara heard the familiar words, steady and certain, "You are the one I have been waiting for." This time she knew it was not just about her. It was about what humans could do, about the strength of partnership, the power of ingenuity, and the courage to face the impossible. Together, they had won the battle. But the war, the real war, was just beginning. The valley was calm, almost peaceful, after the chaos of the battle. Dr. Mara Ellison stood on a ridge looking down at the shimmering energy traps and the quiet form of the Queen beside her. The sun's twin rays stretched across the alien landscape, reflecting off the crystalline rocks and illuminating the valley in gold and blue. It was a moment of quiet triumph, but Mara knew it was only temporary. "The Devourer's fleet has retreated for now," Mara said, her voice soft. "But it's not gone. They'll return, and next time we have to be ready." The Queen turned its massive head toward her, scales glittering in the sunlight. Mara felt the familiar mental whisper. "You have done well. Today, you saved lives. You proved that your species is capable of courage, intelligence, and wisdom. Humanity's presence matters in this galaxy." Mara swallowed, the weight of the moment settling on her. She realized how much she had changed. She was no longer just a scientist exploring distant planets. She was a protector, a strategist, a human who had earned the trust of a being far older and wiser than she could imagine. "We need to rebuild," Mara said aloud. "We can't just wait for the next attack. We have to prepare, strengthen alliances, and warn others." "Yes," the Queen replied. "And you will lead them. You are the one I have been waiting for. Together, we will guide the future." Mara looked at the Queen and felt a surge of determination. She had learned that humans were unique, not because of physical power or advanced technology, but because of their creativity, intuition, and courage. Those qualities, combined with the Queen's experience and alien abilities, had turned the tide against a seemingly unstoppable threat. Over the next several days, Mara worked tirelessly with the Queen to secure the valley and prepare it as a base of operations. They repaired energy barriers, reinforced traps, and studied the remaining signs of the Devourer's technology. Mara also sent signals through her shuttle's communication array, hoping to reach human ships and other alien civilizations. The Queen taught her methods of observation, camouflage, and energy manipulation. Mara shared strategies of improvisation, deception, and quick thinking. The partnership grew stronger with each passing day, a blend of human ingenuity and alien experience that neither species had ever known before. One evening, as the twin moons rose, Mara sat beside the Queen. "Do you think we'll ever see your kind again?" she asked softly. "Your people. The ones you lost." The Queen's massive eyes reflected the moonlight. "Perhaps. My kind is scattered, weakened by the Devourer. But with you, humans and allies we may find, there is hope. You are the spark that can reignite what was lost." Mara felt a lump in her throat. She realized how extraordinary this moment was. A single human had become part of a plan that could reshape the fate of entire species. It was more responsibility than she had ever imagined, but she welcomed it. Weeks passed,